In the world of art, there's an unwritten rule. If you want to create a lifelike drawing, go big. That's usually my approach. I typically start with a minimum size of a 4 and work my way up. However, today, I'm challenging myself to do the opposite. Let's find out how detailed I can get in realism. As you might have already guessed, this is another one of my art challenges. Enjoy watching. So, the structure of this challenge is pretty straightforward. I've taken an A4 sheet and cut it into pieces, with each subsequent piece being half the size of the previous one. This created a neat sequence. I'm going to try drawing on these pieces, starting from the largest and going down in size. I don't even know what I'll achieve myself. I decided to draw the portrait of Michael Galustian. Why him? There's a little secret about that, but I'll reveal it later. Let's get started. Phew, what are my first impressions? A 5 format is a breeze, and it's not much of a challenge for me. So, I'll jump to the second level right away, using every other sheet. By the way, I've decided to time myself to see if the drawing size affects the time it takes. We'll see. Now, on to the next level. The results turned out quite decent, I believe. And if you don't scrutinize it too closely, the level of detail here is on par with the larger canvas. Of course, I'm not aiming for hyperrealism or photorealism in this challenge, though some might consider this result almost like a photograph. It wasn't overly difficult for me, so I'll try taking another step down in size. But in all seriousness, this time it was genuinely challenging. I had to pay a lot of attention to the texture of the paper, as you probably noticed. I struggled with it. It was also tough to maintain the right proportions because one wrong move could mess everything up. By the way, that's why I used a timer today. It turns out that this portrait took more time than the previous one, even more than the first, despite the sheet being only 8 times smaller than the initial one and 4 times smaller than the one before it, if I counted correctly. Or maybe 16 times smaller. I'm bad at math. You can count it yourself. In any case, it wasn't easy, but I'll stick to my tradition and take on another sheet. Let's see what happens. Oof, that was difficult. So, here's my final word. I believe I pulled it off. Admittedly, the level of detail here isn't as good as in the first, second, or even the third portrait. This portrait proved to be quite a challenge, and now I'll reveal the secret. Why I chose this exact actor. It's actually quite simple. It's the beard. Drawing a dark beard and hairstyle is easier for me than trying to capture skin tones on a small sheet. Regarding the challenge, I don't see the point in moving further because I can't achieve reasonably detailed drawings on a sheet this small. However, I think it turned out pretty well, all things considered. In summary, final shots, and goodbye.